Morning, everyone. So my name is Jesaya Hano. So I am the head of business development in NAMIBIA, as well as one of the people that lead Basecamp, that's basically the incubation hub of Startup NAMIBIA. Right. So I'll let me take you through the work Startup NAMIBIA has done, through our time of existence to really support the startup ecosystem as well, and also briefly touch on, what we have done. To support fintechs in I guess setups in general, right? So just to really talk about who we are, see that this is not quite working well, but it's okay. Maybe we'll do. South Namibia in itself. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So Startup in itself was this organization that started to support Namibian startups. What is a startup in itself? Sometimes I need to explain that to people. So a startup is an innovative business in the core of itself that generally has a high growth potential and is quite scalable, right? And we always try to separate that from an SMB, where generally the smaller business where the growth potential and scalability is not as great. And generally, an SMB starts making up, financing and making money and profits almost immediately, or at least in a very short term, while startups at times take time. But once they start going, they generally tend to do very well for themselves, right? So Startup was then set up to really then support the startups, right? To build an innovative ecosystem in Namibia to support businesses such as fintechs and many more businesses. And I'll touch on some of the businesses we supported later on in this presentation, right? And also at the same time to position Namibia to be one of the leading innovative ecosystems for entrepreneurs on the continent. And what's important to that is initiatives such as what the Bank of Namibia is doing right now to support businesses that want to be innovative, especially in the fintech space, because we know fintech is quite big on the continent, also and in general globally. When it comes to innovation, right? And overall, the huge big vision is by 2025 we want to have established the groundwork on a to be one of the leading startup ecosystem on the African continent. Right. So these are just some of the sectors we focus on, right? But what we really found is when we really started focusing on this, we found that actually it was more important that we be sector agnostic rather than focusing on particular sectors in the ecosystem, because the innovation landscape when it comes to startups in Namibia, when we started out the project, is very, very shallow. But still, to a certain extent, we do focus on travel and tourism, cultural and creative and blue and green economy with the technological aspects as well, but not leaving out, as I said, fintechs at the same time, right? So this is where you're located right now. We're located in the West, and this is how our world looks like from our side, right? So what have we done since we started this project? So the project was started in December 2019, but actually we really started activities in February 2020. It is funded by GIZ, as well as supported by the Ministry of Trade, as well as the City of Ubuntu. Since we started, we have supported over 3,000 entrepreneurs, and when we talk about support, we talk about various activities we do. Right? Those are pitch events. They can be hackathons, trainings, boot camps, and such. Right? And some of the individuals in this room right now have gone through that. And then we also then offer structured entrepreneurship training, right? What we call startup programs, and we have had over 400 entrepreneurs go through those programs, right? We have partnered up with innovation hubs across the globe, mainly in Africa as well as Europe, to really carry this out, and also have our own internal programs which we offer to entrepreneurs. In terms of what our success has been, since we started, 18 startups have, at least the one we know of, I'm sure more than have, but this one's one we reported, have secured investment in some form after I started Namibia. 3 of them have been equity investments, and in total what we've counted so far to $295 million Namibian dollars. So what are our strengths? Sorry about that. What do you want to do? Okay, sorry about that. I thought it was working. All right, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, just I guess I'll just say the next slide. All right, so we go back to the centers we have. All right, so we have two centers outside of here. So the first one is our innovation center. That is called Basecamp. That is where I work and the colleagues who are here today work. So the aim of that innovation center is really then to take the startups really through our programs, which you saw there, and some run some activities, such as speech event, boot camps, and such, really to develop the innovation ecosystem in the country. And for our startups that do very well, they receive some funding of 5 million euros, and the 10 years startups receive that, and as well as 6 months of mentorship and coaching so they can get their product onto the market and they're able to really succeed and be sustainable in the long run. So, and secondarily, we have our digital transformation center, because when we started, we recognized that Namibia really did lack digital skills. So therefore, we wanted to train these entrepreneurs up to a specific center within Namibia. That we call our digital transformation center. That's on the next slide. And that digital transformation center teaches entrepreneurs fourth industrial revolution skills, not only things of software, where we do advanced programming, game design and such, but also at the same time also do teach entrepreneurs on technologies like 3D printing, CNC scanners, and the like. Right. So next, please. Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you. The next slide. All right, so we have various programs which we run our startups through, all the way starting from, that's on the next slide, starting from just having an idea, right? And all the way to a point where you're able to scale, right? So we found that startups, unfortunately, in our country, face an ability to grow their businesses, and that's because they did not necessarily have the proper guidance to take the business from just having an idea to a point where they're able to go to financiers. Because then you find financiers saying, look, with all these entrepreneurs approaching us, but we're unable to fund them because they're just not ready yet. So that is where we step in, and then take that idea and mold the startup to a point of being able to get the market. So if we go to the next slide, we will see the programs which NAMIBIA has. Okay, here we go. So the first program which we have is called our HAN program. That's just really when an entrepreneur comes to us with a business idea, and then we run through them, and then we, at the end of the system, get it to basically a business concept. Then after that, we have our incubation program, which we call our COOK program, and you'll see the theme of the name is really about basically you're out there in the wilderness and you need to basically get food. First thing you do is hand dry the food, then you cook it. And then after the COOK program, the idea is that you then have a prototype, that is ready to enter the market. Then we go to a trade program where you're in the market, and then we will then provide you some sort of basic funding at that point in time, and then also help you with getting a proper go-to-market strategy, customer acquisition strategy, as well as mentorship. After that, we have our expert program, and this is really then for startups that are ready for that next stage of funding. That's generally from venture capital as well as banks, and then we help startups get that funding and make the right introduction. Right? Then we have our reading program. That's really for entrepreneurs now that have started but they are stuck. So what we do is that we have a program that assists them to really then continue building their businesses, and also to then be able to then get into the expert program as well. If you go to the next one. Then what we have, and I talked about this in our trade program, is pre-seed funding. And we found that it's very, very important. Entrepreneurs come from, unfortunately, disadvantaged backgrounds where their families cannot support them with that initial capital to get started. So what we do is we currently provide them with 5,000 euros, which equals about 8,000 European million, and then provide them with that additional support for them to be able to then really build a sustainable business. Go to the next slide. So we've been running this program for 2 years. This is just last year, one of the winners there, and I also see one or two entrepreneurs in this group that benefited from this funding. And then we go to the next slide, you'll see the winners of this year. Most have to be involved and again the thing there. And yeah, then in this year, the 10 starters won, and they're actually going through this process now, and they're going to finish that process at the end of this month. And we found last year we had about out of the 10 startups we supported, 6 of them actually finished and actually still running. And this year, out of the 10 we supported, all 10 actually still in it and they're still running. So that's really just was to show how this funding with additional support really helps businesses continue at the end of the day. And all of them have also gone through our hand of food program to get here. So next slide. Okay, we can skip this one. Can we skip the next one? All right. In terms of next slide, sorry. In terms of the startups we have, this is just what I always like to show people. This is the wall of fame. And in fact, 2 of the startups that are presenting today that is now Southern Accounting as well as Payments Finance. I started with the alumni, and I believe they started the businesses with us, and you can see the progress that they've made, or giving the support we're giving them. And obviously, I always like to stress that we all need a support mechanism in the entrepreneur to actually do the actual work to continue building their businesses. But we, as I said, we work with really brilliant entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. So some of the startups in the NAMIBIA startup ecosystem have done very well for themselves. I'm just going to give you 3 examples, we have attracted some additional funding. So this the first one, I think everybody's familiar with it, is Jabu. They raised a seed round of over $3 million, and they raised another one of $50 million. So just to show that Namibia might be small. And whenever I talk to people from outside Namibia, in fact, recently I was talking to someone from Kenya, and they were like asking how many people in our country. They told them, 2.5 million people, and they're like, oh, what? More people in Nairobi than in Namibia. But still, I believe that if given the right environment, we are able to produce more jobs in this country. I just really believe, given our special status in Africa, has been a very peaceful country with quite a stable rule of law. Next one. So, and 2 more startups that have done well. One is going to present today is called Southern Accounting. They went through our food program with partnering with an organization called Startup Wise Guys out of Estonia, and they raised 65,000 euros from them as a pre-seed round from them for them again to continue building out their platform. And then we also have Toroli is an e-commerce store, and they raised $250,000 from our angel network here. So again, to continue building out their platform. Next, please. All right, so this is just our ecosystem and how it has evolved. So we go to the next slide. All right, so sorry, I'm used to like clicking through this now. Generally, I'm way faster, but yes. So what Namibia, when we started Namibia, it was nowhere to be found on the international ecosystem when it comes to startup rankings. Right? But where are we today? At the end of mid-2021, we were ranked. I don't know where we came to number 99 in the world, and relatively self-assisting as was ranked 106 in the world. And in Africa, Namibia, on the innovation ecosystem, tech ecosystem was ranked number 8. And fast forward to 2022, which is the next slide. Then Namibia rose from number 99 in the world to 91st, according to Startup Link, which is a database that ranks ecosystems globally. And we then were second in South Africa, only second to South Africa, and 11th on the continent. And even we still grew. Rose 186 spots to number 700 in the world. So here's the next one. We all know the Africa growth story. Africa is doing very well in terms of attracting funding and such, right? And Namibia is also starting to play its role. Obviously, it's mostly because of the Jabu transaction I do really believe there's so much more that can be done. And I also believe there's so much more unreported venture capital activity on the continent, especially given the activity being done by our pension funds in Namibia. Then, just what's the next one, sorry? Okay, and this is just again to highlight the activity that has been done. Obviously, the big giant in our region, Eastern Africa, that they said if we are able to put together the right legislation framework, we're able to attract more funding to Namibia, and also maybe have more startups that can be based out of Namibia to serve the rest of South Africa and even the whole of Africa. So, again, our special legislative environment here. And lastly, I just always like to highlight our gaps in our ecosystem. Right? As much as we have, we've done well in terms of really building our ecosystem, there's a lot of gaps in that startup space. The one is the gap in early stage funding. Yes, I can have a great idea, right? That's good. But then I build it out, but then I need money. Who's going to fund me? Generally, we find that no one is willing to take that early stage risk on startups. Yes, it's risky. Lots of money, unfortunately, will get, I guess, wasted in a way, or let's say it's not really wasted, but this companies just want to succeed. But that's the nature of it. But on the aggregate of it, actually more return come in from this investment, than what the money that's actually, lost. Put it that way. And you see that that's the reason why so much VC funding is coming into Africa, mostly from the United States, because they've understood this and they've built out a very good venture capital ecosystem based mostly in Silicon Valley in the US, right? And then we have lack of market for startups. Yes, I got this product, maybe I get funding. Who's going to use my product, right? So, and that is, in general, it's because we have a closed, non-holistic ecosystem by some market players that do not allow the smaller guys in. And that obviously will lead to a high failure. And these guys who don't like it, they also generally do not innovate. Therefore, keeps the whole ecosystem, very archaic in a way. Then we have policy and regulation, which is great. This is why, I'm very grateful towards the Bank of Namibia for actually then leading this, to change the policy and regulation to become startup friendly, to become innovation friendly. That is very, very needed. And many other factors that you can read there, but I'm not maybe we should just stop there. But let's just to end off again. I'd just like to again emphasize the importance of organizations such as Bank of Namibia for giving startups opportunity, in their sandbox, having an innovation hub to be able to really build out businesses, because that's key. Because many times startups feel as if they're on the outside, and the organizations of Bank of Namibia are such huge behemoths that you just don't know how to approach them. So it is great that today we have this opportunity to do this, and then hopefully also, it will evolve into more than just presentations, but when the startups are present today, or even others who could not be here today, come to you, able to really accommodate them. Because us working with startups, the issue that they're not back office, right? They many times are disorganized. They many times need guidance, and hopefully you are able to have that heart to assist them and guide them in the right direction. Because many of them are really passionate, hungry individuals who are really want to make a difference in the organizations, as well in Namibia, in Africa, as well in the people's lives who they touch. So that's just my view to the show, and thank you very much.